Oh, remember last time I made a video like this? Not like the last video I did like this, but the last video I did talking about how bad the Toho fandom is, where they attack each other and all that stuff. And I said it would probably get worse. I was right. I was right. It did in fact get worse. I personally don't think it could get any worse than this because we now have someone who wants a game so bad he doesn't care if one of the two people, he doesn't care if one of the two people dies as long as it's made. Yes, you heard me. There is someone who would rather have someone complete a game and die than to not have them complete the game and possibly recover completely healthy. We now live in this world, which is unfortunate. And thankfully, I do have the Twitter post popped up, so let's read it, shall we? Now, again, I'm not going to be sharing any names because I'm not going to give these people any attention, especially this guy. But the guy we're mainly talking about, the guy who would rather have the game done and the developer die and not have the game and have the developer possibly live. This is the guy who made the post. I'd like to remind now. I'm sorry I can't get it on the screen, but I'd like to do things differently in my own way. I'd like to remind you that I started working on my game a year after 17.5 was announced and finished it already, while 17.5 is still in development hell. Yeah, they're not using a pre-made baby engine like I did, but they also have more people with more experience. What a joke. Okay, first off, you technically did steal and you did take, well, you kind of can't steal a game engine, but you technically did steal character sprites, game music, stuff like that. You kind of did steal that stuff, so you're making yourself look out to look like an idiot already. But you also have to remember that games like this, even with a huge ass fucking team like in Square Enix, for example, making a game can still take months upon years to make. Because again, people were hoping for Final Fantasy VII Remake back when the PS3 was announced. And we finally have part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it took them... The PS3 came out in 2006 in Japan. And the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 came out 2 years ago, so that is 13 fucking years of development right there, just in general. And on top of that, Square Enix has been working on a bunch of other games and stuff, so even with all the fucking development teams and stuff Square Enix has, it could still take a really long time to make a game, so remember that. Alright, let's go on to the replies, shall we? We have someone who is we have one person who is supporting this guy, saying Zuna should just find a different group at this point. Tesofro, who's the development team of for 17.5. Yeah, anyway, let's continue reading. Zuna should probably just find a different group at this point. Tesofro's been pretty disappointing lately, and the 17.5 fiasco has just been sad. Worst thing is they'll probably still have issues despite so many delays. Well, guess what, you little snowflake? That's every game released. Ever. Yeah. you probably play like Super Smash Bros. I guarantee you they play Smash Ultimate. Like, that game had as much work put into it in as little time as it did as fucking Melee. And Melee came out in 2001 on the GameCube, and it still has fucking issues. But you know what? You probably think that's a solid game, but you have to remember every game has its issues. No, there's no such thing as the perfect game. If you think there's just because a game is perfect to you doesn't mean it's actually perfect. Okay, no game is perfect. Every game has its flaws. Every game has its ups and downs. That's just how it is. You can't fix everything 100% of the time. Yeah, and someone replied to that comment saying, "Guys at Tesofro are Zun's close friends more than anything," which I already applaud this guy right here for saying something like that. If it's close, if it's someone like your close friends or someone you 100% trust all the time, then they can take all the time they want. Like, there's no rush. You don't have to rush them. You trust them. You know they'll do a good job or as good as they can. So there's that. Zune could easily contact a better studio, but as big as it is now, Zune still treats Toho as his leisure work, as he should. It is what he's known for. That's a good thing. And the fact that he has his own friends make this game for him when fuck 18 came out close to the beginning of the year, back in like March or April, maybe May. I don't remember when. Yeah, he worked on that himself. But yeah, it's pretty solid, even though I played the demo, but it's pretty solid. So he can't work on multiple games by himself. He's just one person. And then the original poster of this comment, like not the one who replied, but the original poster of this comment responds with, "True, but he should also care for how the games are turning out at release." He does. He cares. But he knows that 17.5 is going to be in good hands, though, too. You have to remember that. Since Hopeless Masquerade, every game Testofro made needed patches to work properly. That's every game. Again, that's every fucking game ever made and released. Except stuff from like the 90s, early 2000s, stuff like that. Up until the 360 PS3 days, that is. Like, patches and stuff were made and everything, starting with those games, that generation. But yeah, every game has its patches from time to time and updates. Minecraft still has fucking patches and updates. Smash Ultimate still has. Yeah, you get the idea. And with 15.5's case, we have 3 different versions of the game because they couldn't properly make the game. Honestly, I personally think they didn't make 3 versions of the game. It's the exact same game. They just ported it to other platforms, not because they couldn't make it game properly. Because again, it is really fucking solid. Sure, it's bullshit at times in the story mode, but it's still a pretty fucking solid game. You're probably just bad at it, which is okay, but still, it's a pretty fucking solid game. They just ported it. Of course, it's gonna have its issues when it gets ported. Most games do. And now here we are with 17.5, a game that needed more than 2 years of work and will likely release with issues that need patching after release. I get that they're Zune's friends, but it's clear that they're not up to the job anymore. Also, yes, I have been with when I'm reading these comments and stuff back, I am using the correct grammar because there are so many fucking grammar mistakes in these comments. It is hurting my fucking head. Like, it is upsetting. Like, if you're not a native English speaker, that's one thing. But if you are a native English speaker and you use incorrect grammar, incorrect punctuation, can't spell correctly, then you have no excuse. And then the responder, the guy who said that the team behind 17.5 is his friends, this guy responds, "True, guys, I'm just hoping that they step up with the programming one day." This guy right here has my respect. Like, this guy has my respect. Like, you should always encourage better improvement, better behavior, stuff like that. You can't rush people. If you rush people, that means the game's going to be extremely buggy, glitchy, stuff like that. Take Cyberpunk 2077, for example. That game was in development hell since like 2011, 2012. And people were fucking rushing it. And when it came out and people found it rushed, people were giving the developers shit for it. Like, it's your sure, they rushed it, but it was your fault they rushed it. You have nobody to blame but yourself. If the game is released like that, you have nobody to blame but yourself. It's just facts. Okay, this one right here I can kind of agree with. I feel that on top of that, many things around the official side of Touhou don't help. Last game came out not so long ago, but only 1.5 manga series are going on, with the main one not being too interesting. I honestly haven't read any of Lotus Eaters at all. I think that's the name of the newest one. Like, the only Touhou manga I've read is I read Wild and Horned Hermit scans from time to time, just because I think they're fucking hilarious and I like the art style and story and the characters. But one I have actually read, I own volume 5 of Forbidden Scrollery right here. This one I think probably story-wise was the best. In my perspective, I think it's the best. So I've only really read bits and pieces of Wild and Horned Hermit, and I haven't read volumes 1 through 4 or 6 and 7 yet, because since I only own volume 5. But from what I've read from volume 5, I'm actually enjoying it. But yeah, I honestly haven't read any of Lotus Eaters. I don't really plan on it, but if you like it, that's cool. If you don't like it, it's whatever. But I honestly don't plan on reading it anytime soon, or if at all. And yeah, I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Okay, someone says, wait, doesn't Zune make everything by himself? And that person from the first comment, the one with the terrible grammar, unfortunately, says, the fighting games as well as 17.5 are not made by Zune, which is true. He makes the story, new characters, and the music's while Twilight Frontier makes the games. Tesso for short. But yeah, while he does exactly make the spin-offs and the fighting games, he does in fact have a major role in it by making the story, the characters, the music. He still has a major role in that. So he is still part of the team, if that's the case. And then someone says, it looks like health problems play a part of the delay. Though I can understand your frustration, this game was announced pre-pandemic. Let that sink in for a moment. Someone finally stating facts right here. The game was announced pre-pandemic. So, while it was announced, that doesn't necessarily mean it was in development when it was announced. Not all games are like that. Sometimes games are developed before they're announced. Sometimes they're being developed while they're announced. Sometimes they're just announced and then they start development, which is the case for 17.5 right here. And then the original post, the poster of this, the writer of this post says, "Frustration. I'm laughing my ass off. Either Tetzofro are the most incompetent developers in the world or the unluckiest. Either way, two Tetsu memes are funny." This guy is laughing because one of the developers in this game is probably going to fucking die if they don't get treated or healthy soon. They're laughing because someone is likely going to die. It's unfortunate that we live in a world like we have to deal with people like this. But yeah, that's kind of sad that someone is that despicable and desperate for a new spin-off game that from my favorite one of my favorite franchises. It's unfortunate that people have to laugh at someone's own misery just because they're not getting the game or whatever they wanted from them. That's and honestly, I wish nothing except what's happening to the one sick developer. I hope what's happening to him, that guy, happens to the guy who made this post, and the developer gets healthy because. And normally I wouldn't say something like this, but if you're laughing at someone being sick because you're not getting a game developed when it's originally going to be out or whatever, you honestly deserve like zero respect, and I feel bad for your parents for giving birth to you. Like, had they known you were going to grow up to be someone like this, you should have been aborted. I don't like saying stuff like this. I don't condone it, but sometimes you kind of have to say stuff like that. That's just how it is. I'm trying to load more of the replies. And I thankfully did. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm using a web browser version Twitter, so it's going to take a while to load. Someone responds with, "They were the devs who decided Typhon and Occult Balls were a good mechanic after all." Like, they honestly were. Like, that's like saying having a Final Smash in like Smash Bros, for example, it was a bad thing. Like, it was believe it or not, the Final Smashes were originally going to be in Super Smash Bros for the Nintendo 64. Yeah, do your research. It was originally going to be a thing, but it was scrapped because of the limitations of the Nintendo 64, so they couldn't do that. Same with Melee on the GameCube. They wanted to add them there, they couldn't, as well as other characters, but because of time they couldn't do it. It wasn't until Brawl this Final Smashes came in. But yeah, saying that the Occult Balls and Typhoons and the fighting games are bad mechanics, basically like saying a Final Smash in Smash Ultimate is a bad mechanic. Honestly, and I don't. Again, when I did play Smash games, I had items off because a lot of the items were kind of unbalanced. It gave either you or your opponents an unfair advantage. It really wasn't fun at all. In fact, Smash Bros just really isn't fun at all in general. And then someone, someone else replies with, "Cut him some slack. Shit happens. It's a game. That's all it is. Yeah, you made your game quicker. Good for you. But if a guy is having health problems that's going to come before the game, and obvious COVID caused a lot of delays, I'm sure they're doing their best." I'm sure they're doing their best too, and I really applaud that person for saying something like that, because they are stating facts right there. Like, shit happens. Games are going to get delayed. Some are going to get rushed. It's unfortunate that they're going to be rushed, but it's better to have them delayed than to have a buggy mess like a Bethesda game, for example. So, yeah. Is that really all of... Hold on. That might honestly be all the comments from that post currently. Yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunate that we have someone like this hoping that one of the developers of a game they want made is dying and they're laughing at them. That's... nobody should be doing that. That's not something anybody should do, or condone for that matter. And the fact that there are people actually supporting people like this just makes it even worse, because at the end of the day, who wants to be associated with someone like that? I know I wouldn't. I'm sure you wouldn't. Like, if... I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong and I did wrong. I'm not afraid to admit that, because I'm honestly an honest person. But if you have to stoop to the level this guy is, you're just sad and pathetic. I feel no sympathy for you at all. And then someone says, again, yeah, again, there's people who are saying that taking care of health issues and stuff like that is more important than releasing a game. Yeah, and then we have someone else who's supporting this guy, saying, "You're so much better here. Is that approval you asked for?" And it's a handshake emoji. No, they're really not. They're really not better. In fact, they are a piece of shit, and I just wish that they would get hit by the virus and just... yeah, maybe they will learn. Maybe they'll learn not to say and do shit like this if it were to happen to them. But unfortunately, people are like this are ignorant and stupid, so we can't really do anything about that. But yeah, again, if that guy finds this video, all I have to say to him is, are you really happy? Are you really this pathetic to where you have to shit on someone for having health issues and not releasing a game, that you have to brag that you made a Mega Man X game, fan game, by the way, with stolen assets, stuff like that? Again, most likely, I'm not sure if he made like custom sprites and stuff like that, and music, stuff like that. I'm not sure saying that, but I'm saying just in case he didn't do that stuff. But again, I don't care. I don't like Mega Man games or fan games just in general. So this isn't just bias, but if you have to make yourself feel that important and good about yourself that you have to hate and harass someone this bad, I feel sorry for everybody around you. Like you should not. I wish the worst for you in life. If you're going to be someone like this, just don't do this. Again, if you send it, if you send someone finds this and sends this to this person, again, I wish this person, right, who made the post, nothing but the worst in life. I wish no support goes his way.
Wait, what time is it? 12 in the morning?
No appreciation goes towards this guy. I hope he gets
11? Oh,
nothing good in life from here on out. And yeah, I just hope he learns from his mistakes. Even though I'm sure he won't. Because again, people are so insecure about themselves that they have to make themselves feel good by shitting on other people. It's just how it is. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to getting Dragon Balls. And see ya.